Ladies. Now I'm a few minutes late because, as you can hear, there is what sounds like a firework display going on in one of the back gardens outside my window. So hopefully it's not going to last too much longer, but I didn't want to keep you too long. I said I was going to go live at 7 o'clock and here I am playing some lovely, gentle music. And I wanted to talk to you today about building inner resilience. I'm going to talk for a few moments because I don't think it would be entirely relaxing to lead you into a guided relaxation with what sounds like World War III going on outside. But you know, it's we have to just let these things go, don't we? We can't keep on, reacting and adapting, not adapting to what's going on in the external environment, which is, of course, a big part of learning how to be resilient. So, for those of you who don't know me, I don't know how many people I'm going to get joining me live this evening, because I haven't done a huge amount of promotion. But for those of you who pop on whilst I'm live, or maybe you catch up on replay, my name is Sandra Wilson and I am a clinical hypnotherapist. And I'm based in Bristol, which is a lovely city in the southwest, and I work online too. Now, I tend to mostly help women in the midlife years, although certainly not exclusively, who struggle with chronic anxiety and low self-esteem, low self-worth, especially during the perimenopause years and into the menopause and beyond. And I love to help women to fully believe in themselves so that they can do the things they want without being shouted down by their inner critic or by other people around them. And the inner critic can be a very disempowering voice, and it can often be a huge barrier to success and happiness. And I talk a lot in this group about that voice, about that inner critic. And I also do talk a lot about the topic of resilience building, and I did something on this very topic a couple of weeks ago, but I do think it's a topic worth repeating, because it's only when you hold a core belief that you can cope with anything that your life becomes far less stressful and you stop worrying quite so much. It's perfectly normal, perfectly human. You wouldn't be human if you didn't worry sometimes. But what I'm talking about, sorry about World War III going on out there, the kind of worrying I'm talking about is the kind that affects your well-being and prevents you from getting a good night's sleep, or from just being able to take enjoyment in day-to-day living because you've constantly got worries on your mind. So with a belief that you can handle anything that comes your way, really it is quite transformative. Okay, because so many of us do feel very trapped by our fears. We feel doubtful that we can cope with life's challenges, especially when the outcome is uncertain. Because as talented and amazing as we are, we cannot predict the future. So when we're dealing with outcomes or situations where we aren't sure what's going to be happening, we start worrying and we start trying to predict what's going to happen, or we try to control the things that might necessarily not be controllable. And if this sounds familiar, just give me a thumbs up or drop me a yes in the comments. So I'd like to just reassure you that you actually are built to cope, whether you believe that or not. but we so often don't believe it, and we tell ourselves that we can't cope. And this very simple but powerful statement or affirmation, and I use it quite a lot myself, I can handle anything that comes my way. It's a powerful statement that will help you to build resilience, help you to overcome fear of uncertainty, freedom from worry, and letting go of the need to control. And it's one of my personal favourite affirmations, and I often repeat it, like I said, quite regularly. And this, I think, seems to be the difference between people who worry catastrophically and people that just seem to sail through life seemingly without a care in the world. And they're probably the same people who are setting off the fireworks outside. And even though they may not necessarily go around repeating, I can cope with anything that comes my way in an explicit way, maybe they hold a belief subconsciously that they can cope. Maybe some people just seem to perhaps have a life experience, their early years, or maybe their environments that led them to truly believing that they can cope. So when you hold a belief that you can cope, that all will be well, it's not toxic positivity. It's not about, as I said in my post, chucking a painting yourself with Teflon so nothing will ever permeate your outer shell. It's not about not being affected. Of course you'll be affected by your challenges, but it's about getting things in perspective, about, I guess, understanding that you will have challenges, but these will not beat you, that you will learn from them, and that you can just get up, brush yourself down, start again. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, not, toxic positivity and telling yourself everything's brilliant when it really isn't. So when you have a core belief that all will be well and that you can cope, you'll start to build resilience. And it means that you know to your core that no matter what happens, you really will be okay. And by cultivating this belief, you may find that you stop trying to control the uncontrollable. You believe that you can face challenges or take the necessary action and not feel disempowered by that inner critic. So if you feel stuck or fearful about something in your life, if you find yourself procrastinating or making excuses or just burying your head in the sand, perhaps something has a grip on you that just keeps you stuck. But intuitively you just know that by facing this thing, facing this challenge, you'll make a change that could benefit you enormously. When you stay stuck in the comfort zone, it's comfortable, but doesn't necessarily mean that you are happy or fulfilled. It just means that stepping out of the comfort zone and dealing with the unknown is simply a little bit too scary. So when you hold a belief like, I can't cope, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not a strong person, unfortunately you will be the kind of person that worries more than other people. So how on earth can we change that? The good news is that it is possible. This is what my bread and butter work is in my practice. I help people to believe that not only are they good enough, but they are stronger than they believe and they can cope. Okay? So when you go through life believing that you can't cope, more often than not you'll have a tendency to worry about things obsessively. So, and this brings me just to mention once again about the workshop that I'm going to be delivering on Sunday the 14th of November, which is next Sunday, and it's called Coming Home to Calm. And it's going to be all about the worry habit and how we can overcome it to live a free and peaceful life. And it will help you to be able to see your future with much less worrying, no matter what, whether it's about something specific that you're facing or maybe just in general. So just imagine no more gut-wrenching feelings of dread every time you think about that thing that you're facing, whether it's a medical appointment. And I had my mammogram a couple of weeks ago, and I really did have to be quite firm with myself about not worrying about it. Worrying about interviews or doing presentations or having difficult conversations that need to be had. Activities that you can no longer avoid. Stressful situations that need to be faced, or challenges or changes that are inevitable, but maybe you're just pretending otherwise. So in the workshop, I'm going to be offering you some insight into why you're worrying so much, what's going on, why do you do this to yourself, and what's the actual point of worrying. I'll be offering some practical tips and suggestions about how you can break the worry habit, or at least make it less overwhelming or dominant in your life. Wonderful. And I'll also show you a technique or two about things that you can apply to real life scenarios that you could be facing, which will enable you to just deal with them, just like all those people who seem to breeze through life easily and calmly. And you'll also get a helpful set of notes that you can keep for the future. So the first thing I always say to my clients who come to see me about their chronic anxiety, which is the perfect breeding ground for catastrophic worrying, is that you are stronger than you think you are. Oh yes, you are. And this is applied to pretty much everyone I have worked with, and I'm willing to bet that you are no different. So how can you start to believe this and ditch that disabling worry habit that keeps you from living a peaceful life? So if the workshop is of interest to you, just pop me a yes in the comments, and maybe just no, because I said to say yes before about something else. Just put workshop in the comments if you're interested, or you can just drop me a PM, okay? And then we can get the ball rolling, because I would really love to have a few of you there. I know there's a few people who've already said that they are interested, and somebody is coming. It's the first time I've ever delivered a workshop, a paid workshop. It's £25, and I think it's going to be quite good value for money. Like I said, what price would be a life with a, free from chronic worrying? So I'm still thinking about the noise that seems to be going on outside the house, but I think we're just going to run with doing the guided relaxation. I might give it another few moments. I don't really know how much you can hear, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway, because a big part of being resilient and just letting things slide is to try to adapt to the environment, okay? And you can probably hear a little bit of music. So let's just give it a go. If you're comfortable, just close your eyes and just take a couple of nice deep breaths. And you might notice sounds in the environment. But what I'd like you to do is let those sounds go. Just focus on the sound of my voice. And whatever sounds you hear within the environment, simply tell you that the world is safely still turning. And you don't need to interact with anything other than the sound of my voice as it guides you. All will be well. This beautiful quote is inspired by the late Louise Hay, who wrote a book that inspired me a lot when I was young, and it was called You Can Heal Your Life. So just breathe deeply and focus on sensing the calm that comes from allowing the outside world to fade into the background. And there's a part of the brain that gets very sensitive when we overuse it, and it's designed to protect us from harm. And let's just see if we can target that part of us. It's almost childlike. We're sending it a message. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. Continue to breathe, continue to focus on the sound of my voice. I let go of what I cannot control. I embrace the things I cannot change. I trust in the strength within. All will be well. Everything will be okay. Notice how that feels when we repeat these statements. Do you notice comfort, or maybe a little sense of tranquility pervading the body? All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. I let go of what I cannot control. I embrace the things I cannot change. I trust in the strength within me. All will be well. Everything will be okay. And you can have a little wriggle or a little stretch. And I hope you've enjoyed that. And once again, sorry about all the fireworks. And I'll be back next week. And don't forget to pop a hashtag replay in the comments if you're watching this on replay. And pop workshop in the comments if the workshop is of interest to you. And I will see you I won't see you next Sunday because I'm doing the workshop. I'll be back on Sunday, the 21st of November. Have a perfect evening and a wonderful week ahead. Thank you.